Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, from wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of Just Us with Khutso and Emily, where we talk about everyday topics
in a way that unites the world.
That unites the world, yes. And so today we are going to talk.
Emily, how are you?
I'm just getting right into it. I just want to talk about it.
You and I have had such crazy days, huh? You just came out of a meeting, yeah? And I just came out of 2 back-to-back clients and 8 hours of everything from, several clients to teaching to kids. Because it's that time over here.
Yeah, it reminds me of what my daughter always says to me. Slow down, slow down. Yeah, funny we're talking about holidays and speeding through life. Admittedly, I originally wanted to just skip the holidays this year, being a COVID year and things just not being the norm. But then I realized how important it is to appreciate and indulge in these holidays during this year because, it just...
It's been a tough year.
Yeah, it's been a tough year.
Yeah.
And so this year in New Zealand, since we're in New Zealand, I've kind of embraced, as I do when we are over here, our American holidays, and starting with Halloween. My daughters just love Halloween. They love dressing up. I think we all do, and they really get me into it. I remember I never used to do Halloween. I just I'm not gonna dress up this year, but now we go all out. And so though Halloween isn't a tradition, long-term tradition here, it has been built in over time. And so usually what happens is the schools do something or a small community of people do something. And Sabine's school is really good at doing what they call in New Zealand, at doing what they call a car boot Halloween trick or treat.
Yeah.
So everyone gets their cars and they decorate their boots, or in American terms, their trunks.
Yeah.
Gotta get this English, English.
Gotta get your lingo right.
Gotta get the English. And so this year I rock up, being the only American there, right? With my very pathetically done car boot decorations with some cobwebs. I tell you what, these people did amazing car boot. They had tricks for everything. And this was an interesting thing that I find about when you bring another country's tradition to a new country, is their interpretation of it can be quite different from what.
Very different. Yes. Yeah. Yes, it would mean something totally different.
So you know how we say trick or treat? Well, their interpretation of that was, in order to get a treat, you had to do a trick. So in these car boots, you had to do some kind of trick before the kids were allowed a treat. So it might involve, you had to stick your hand in something slimy, or, before you could get a lolly, or you had to go behind this curtain and get scared. Or I Spy. We played games. So it was very clever. That's what I love about interpretations of holidays. And also everything here is literally the essence of what is portrayed on TV of Halloween. Super scary. So the kids dress up super gory and gross. I think I was a cheerleader. And I was the only one dressed up, let's have fun. Everyone else is out to kill me. So So I don't know how it is in South Africa, but here, it's kind of funny because it's not fully adopted. But when a school or a small community takes it on board, they go all out.
Yeah. Well, with us over here, it might well be more a function of my lifestyle than anything else. But we really did not do a heck of a lot of Halloween this year. And in South Africa, unless you're in a community with American expats, Halloween is really not all that big as a holiday. Schools kind of get into it a little bit, especially like the little ones, preschool down. But the older kids don't. I think the extent to which I experienced it this year was I live in a compound. That's kind of what you do in South Africa. You got to live in a compound called complex for safety reasons. Don't get me into that, right? But so in my compound, they sent out a message saying we have so many lovely kids here. Do you want, the kids are allowed to go door to door and do trick or treating. So, but they also sent around a message, which households do or do not want to participate, and 99% of the households opted not. And everybody was like, oh, COVID and this and that, and some people just don't want little kids bothering them. But last year kids did go trick or treating. They don't really dress up, but they just knock on doors. No tricks, really. It's just knock on the door, give me some candy. Are you gonna give me candy or not? I'll move on to the next house.
Yeah, well, I'm curious.
Very different.
I'm curious to know if in the U.S. say, no, we got to do a trick, what someone's reaction would be, because I don't think I've ever knocked on a door and say, nah, trick. No one can do a trick.
Yeah, because usually people just, you just get your candy bag ready, essentially.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, it's really not very big in South Africa, Halloween. I think yours was a lot more exciting than ours. And just as well. I mean, we're in a different country. We don't expect to be doing, everything American, although there's a lot of Americanization all over the world, not just in South Africa, of course. So, which is why we're even talking about American holidays. I mean, which South African holidays have you seen celebrated in the U.S.? Right?
I'd love to hear about other translations of these holidays. Another big one is Thanksgiving, which of course is not celebrated here, but every time I'm here, I try and, this is one of my favorite holidays, bringing family together.
We just had Thanksgiving this weekend. Oh, Emily, somebody's chimed in and actually left us a little love. Thank you, whoever you are. We acknowledge you. We can't see who you are. So thanks for your support. If you're there and you want to tell us what you did for Halloween or Thanksgiving, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, jump in.
Yeah, Emily, you were starting with Halloween. No, Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. So I always do a Thanksgiving here, and I invite my Kiwi friends because I want to introduce this tradition that's important to me, to my friends and family here. And so it's always a fun experience introducing pumpkin pie. That's the one novel
I love pumpkin pie.
food that my Kiwi friends cannot get their head around, how you could possibly eat pumpkin in a dessert. And so I have to introduce it. And usually people do enjoy it. I have only maybe one or two people are usually they just won't even try it. They're like, yeah, nah, that ain't me. I am not that stuff. And so this year I had a great gathering of a bunch of ladies. And during our conversation, we were quizzed about all of the meanings behind Thanksgiving. And it really makes you think about what you do and don't know about your holiday. Because half the questions we couldn't answer. And so, it is fun introducing these other holidays and explaining them to your friends. But, that then brings on Black Friday, which I didn't realize New Zealand took on Black Friday. But now apparently Black Friday is a big deal. And I walked into the shopping mall and there are all these sales on. And it happened to be Black Friday sales. And so I thought, well, what is the reference here? How is it a Black Friday over here with no Thanksgiving present? So I find that interesting how, the commercial world has taken on some of these holidays just to kind of tap into the business. But what about South Africa? Do they...
You know what? I'll get to South Africa in a minute, and I'll have to admit I got a little distracted because I'm talking to my good friend Kristen, whom I haven't seen in a while. Kristen lives in Colorado. She and I taught at DU a while ago. Kristen, it seems like a whole lifetime ago. Thanks for joining in. So Kristen says they made turkey breast and ate veggies, and for Halloween they went to their neighbors to trick or treat. And yeah, she says it all reminds her of teaching ESL. Well, Kristen, Emily is also a former ESL teacher. So I think we're all following each other. ESL folk, right?
Right.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Kristen, and thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm so glad you and your little guy had fun. So, yeah, I think we made a big deal of it at DU, didn't we, Kristen? Didn't we? Are you still there? Oh, you said love it. Yeah, thank you. We did do like for our international students. DU is Denver University for whoever cares to know in Colorado. But didn't we decorate? You know what? I've had many babies since then, Kristen. So you've had a child too. Yes, we did. Yeah, she seems to remember us doing it. Of course, it's in the US, so you're gonna do something like that. But it's always interesting when you do something like that for non-Americans, for international students, because for them it's just also fascinating. Yeah, and everything was all about traditions. Where we taught. It was all cultural exchange and stuff. So we're really, really big into that. How much of this can you see, Emily? Because I feel like I'm talking to Kristen here, which is exciting. I haven't spoken to her before.
This is the virtual world. You're having a side conversation, Khutso.
I know.
Here I am staring at myself while you have this conversation with Kirsten. I'm feeling a little bit, like there's a crowd here.
All right, I'll keep reading the comments. So she reminds me, one of our textbooks at DU was about traditions. Wow, you have a good memory, Kristen. You still have all your brain cells intact. I can tell. I don't think I remember that very well.
So
thank you for a walk down memory lane. South Africa and Thanksgiving, what we did this year. You know what? I think I've become a really boring parent. You know what? I knew that was Thanksgiving, but we didn't do anything, especially because in South Africa, I mean, again, unless you live in a community amongst American expats, you'll have to go out of your way to find it. So no turkey, nothing. It was just another weekend. However, as you said, with Black Friday, my friend, that was something else. In fact, my 10-year-old said to me on Black Friday, she says, Mama, did you know that Black Friday in South Africa is a total scam? That, all these shops claim that they're offering you a discount when they actually are not. And I said to him, how do you know? He says, oh, he saw something, at a friend's on a phone or something. And lo and behold, it was in the news that, all these discounts were really not discounts in a lot of shops in South Africa. And there was a big hoopla around how fake Black Friday is in South Africa. And it's a very recent phenomenon because it started only, I've been back in South Africa since 2012. I think I noticed it in the last 3-5 years tops. It's really, really new, and I don't know if it'll last because of how it went this year. I mean, it was just, not good. I think with COVID, everybody's desperate to kind of make up the lost sales, and everybody thinks, okay, Black Friday, everybody's gonna think it's a psychological thing now. We're just gonna get out there and ramp up business, but who knows, So it's interesting that. Yeah, and today's Cyber Monday. Yes,
Cyber Monday. That's right.
Yeah, you see that in the with shops and things, but yeah. Anyway, sorry. What were you gonna say, Emily?
Well, I thought all sales were scams. I didn't think that was new news.
Really? Well, I didn't know they're scams.
Well, actually, paying a full price is a scam because when you look at how much they can mark it down, then you realize how much you didn't have to pay
in the first place.
I guess everyone, like you said, everyone's trying to survive. So that brings me to Christmas, which is coming up.
Yes. Wait, do we have another? Wait, we said we're going to talk about the holidays. We did Halloween, Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, the next one is
Christmas
Christmas.
is next. Yeah, it's coming around the corner. And, doing Christmas in the Southern Hemisphere is a whole different experience.
It's a whole other experience.
So, I don't know about South Africa, but here Christmas is really about going to the beach, getting out of town. Yeah, in New Zealand, getting out of town, going camping, having a barbecue. Christmas Day is the same type of tradition where family comes together. But Christmas is more like Thanksgiving here, where that's where the family come together. That's where you make the effort to travel to go get and see family. But as soon as Christmas Day is done, you're off. You're off to the beach. And so having a warm Christmas
is hot Christmas, because middle of the summer.
So it's something to get your head around, because of course, if you come from the Northern Hemisphere, the whole, again, essence of Christmas is the snow and the lights.
Yeah. White Christmas. And same how, very layered.
Yeah. And it's very, all the movies are centered around that. So you have to just really switch that all off and be part of this summer Christmas. That when you get a Christmas tree, doesn't quite fit in the picture as nicely, but still is a key part of the tradition.
Yeah. I remember. Let me try and be brief. But I was born in South Africa, went away as a teen, and then I stayed away for a couple of decades. So when one of the times when I came to visit, because I'd gotten so used to having Northern Hemisphere Christmases. So one of the times I came to visit and I saw Santa in shorts, like, how when you see Santa decorations, it's always like big beard and fake snow and all of that. But I saw Santa in shorts, sitting basking on the beach. And I thought that was extremely interesting. I was like, how is this even okay? And Santa's Santa's awful. It's a bit like the Tooth Fairy. He gets lost, Anyway,
talking about not okay. You know what my kid's favorite Christmas song is at the moment? What? It's the Jackson 5 song. I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus. And they keep saying this over and over. I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus. And then of course the song goes on to say, I'm going to tell Daddy and Mommy's in trouble. And I was like, whoa, this is a really R-rated song here that my kids are into.
Yeah, figures, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old singing that one.
So when you say Santa and lying on the beach with his shorts on, sounds a little bit more attractive than Santa in his big heavy red suit and
yeah. So, but isn't it funny though how even though Santa might dress differently to accommodate the wherever he gets showcased, but he's still the heavy set guy. He's still kind of the North Pole guy, and it really is interesting, different cultural interpretations of Christmas and just what people do. I mean, over here, obviously being in the Southern Hemisphere is very similar to New Zealand in that, nobody's cold, everybody goes to the beach, you have a barbecue/braai, as they call it here. And it's really heavy duty family time. People travel from across the country. This is the time that everybody gets to spend with their own families. And depending on whatever culture you come from, it depends on what you do. Like I know with the Black South African culture, it's a big time. I mean, it's not so much in barbecue necessarily, but, families will really make a do out of it. Really buy a lot of food and, do whatever it takes. I mean, if you have to kill an animal so you have enough meat, that's what you do. But that's when everybody gets to sit and huddle around and eat and talk. And I mean, you don't see these people much during the year, but this is the time that everybody does that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
so
again,
I have to do a language translation. So barbecue, braai equals grill in America. So
there you go.
This is a language thing that I had to train myself when I went back, because we talked about barbecues. I always talk about a barbecue coming from the Southern Hemisphere, and I was repeatedly informed that a barbecue is the sauce that you put on the meat, but the action is actually a grill. Talking about English teaching here, we got to. So I just wanted to give a shout out to my good family friend, Chizito, who is in Uganda, who's chimed in and said hello. Hi, Chizito. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Chizito.
So I think we're about at time now, and these conversations tend to go by quickly. I do wish we could continue, but everybody has their day job to get back to, their life
and their
to get
kids.
back to.
Before somebody comes screaming, right?
Yes. Quick. We had a kid-free session. Get off quick.
Can you imagine that? Us, right?
Next week, don't forget to follow us, and don't forget to press like, and please send us comments and feedback. They're really helpful. We know that there's a few glitches we have around sound that we're working on, and lighting. I think our lighting is improved this year. And I spoke too soon, because here comes the bell. And next week we will be looking forward to another discussion episode, and topic.
Send us suggestions. Yeah, send us suggestions if you're listening to this and there's something you. Yeah. If folks would like to. See, this is how it ends, right? We better end it before somebody's leg gets in the way. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. See you again next week.
Bye.
Bye.